As we grow older, staying healthy isn't usually about huge, dramatic lifestyle changes. Instead, it's about the small, everyday habits we carry with us. And one of the most overlooked areas, believe it or not, is hygiene. We all know the basics. Brush your teeth, wash your hands, keep clean. Those lessons are drilled into us from childhood. But here's the surprising truth. What if I told you that the very routines meant to protect you could quietly start working against you as you age? That's right. Some habits that once kept you strong and healthy might actually be harming you now, without you even realizing it. And that's exactly why this conversation is so important. If you're curious to learn about the hidden hygiene mistakes that most seniors make and how to avoid them, stick with me until the end. And hey, if you enjoy uncovering life-changing tips like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. That way, you'll always be the first to know when I share new health insights. Here's the thing. As the body changes, so should our routines. Skin becomes thinner, immune system's a little weaker, mobility a little slower. But most people keep doing things the way they've always done them. It feels familiar, it feels right. But underneath, problems start building. Imagine this. Someone brushes their teeth faithfully every day, but they ignore a sore gum because it doesn't hurt too much. Months later, it's a serious infection. Or take another example. A senior showers daily, thinking they're staying clean and fresh, only to end up with painfully dry, cracked skin. Little habits like these don't make headlines, but they can quietly steal health and comfort over time. And here's what makes it even trickier. Hygiene is a private topic. Most people don't want to admit they need to change the way they bathe, brush, or even trim their nails. That silence keeps these problems hidden, sometimes until it's too late. But small adjustments, a gentler soap, careful flossing, using proper nail tools, can make a world of difference. So let me ask you, are you still following the same routines you did 20, 30, or 40 years ago? If so, your hygiene might be due for an upgrade. And trust me, once you hear the 5 hidden habits I'm about to share, you'll never look at your daily routine the same way again. Before we dive in, a quick reminder. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. You don't want to miss the practical, eye-opening tips I'll be sharing every week. This isn't about blame or fear. It's about awareness, about making smarter, kinder choices for yourself or the loved ones you care for. So let's uncover the 5 hygiene habits that quietly damage a senior's health. And more importantly, what to do instead. She looked like she had it all together. Neat hair, fresh clothes, a tidy home. At 76, Mrs. Rahman seemed like the perfect example of aging well. She had her daily routines down to science. Wake up early, brush her teeth, take a shower, get dressed, make breakfast. To anyone visiting, she looked like the picture of health. But behind the closed bathroom door, things were quietly going wrong. It started small, dry patches on her legs. She thought it was just the weather. Then came the dizziness when she bent down in the shower. She brushed her gums a little harder when they ached, thinking she was scrubbing away plaque. Slowly, her skin itched constantly. Her feet began to swell. Her mouth hurt after meals. Nothing serious, she thought. Just signs of old age. Until one day, her daughter noticed she was limping. Just a little foot pain, Mrs. Rahman said. But that limp was from a cracked heel that had become infected. And when the doctor examined her, the truth was shocking. Her skin was overdried from hot showers and harsh soap. Her gums, an infection, made worse by brushing too hard. Her swollen feet, the result of poor foot care and socks that hadn't been replaced in years. Mrs. Rahman couldn't believe it. She thought she was doing everything right. How could her good hygiene habits betray her? The answer is something most seniors don't realize. The body at 70 or 80 isn't the same as it was at 30 or 40. Skin is thinner, the immune system weaker, flexibility less forgiving. But the habits? They often stay the same. And that's when trouble begins. Think about it. How many older adults are still clinging to the same routines they learned decades ago? Daily long hot showers, scrubbing teeth aggressively, using the same soap they've always bought. It feels right, but it's quietly working against them. And here's the part no one talks about. Hygiene is such a personal, even taboo subject that many seniors suffer in silence. They don't bring it up. They don't ask for advice. And slowly, little habits turn into big problems. Mrs. Ramon's story has a hopeful side, though. She made small changes, switched to gentle soap, used lukewarm water, brushed with a soft toothbrush, checked her feet daily. Within weeks, the itchiness eased, her gums healed, and she felt in control again. That's the real secret. Aging gracefully isn't about giving up independence. It's about updating the way we care for ourselves, so the body we live in now is respected and protected. So let me ask you, are your hygiene habits helping you, or could they be quietly hurting you? If you want to uncover more hidden routines that might be working against you, make sure to subscribe right now. Because in the next part, we're going to break down 5 hygiene habits most seniors overlook, but that can make a huge difference once you spot them. Don't miss it. It started small. Just a little bleeding when she brushed her teeth. Nothing alarming. Just a faint pink on the toothbrush. Mrs. Ramon shrugged it off. I probably didn't brush hard enough, she thought. So she did what seemed logical. She pressed harder. Every morning and night, she grabbed her firm-bristled toothbrush and scrubbed quickly back and forth, determined to keep her teeth strong. To her, brushing hard meant brushing well. But here's the problem. Weeks later, that small pink streak became more than a warning sign. Her gums swelled. Chewing started to hurt. She began avoiding certain foods, not because she didn't like them, but because her mouth couldn't handle the pain anymore. When she finally went to the dentist, she heard something that shocked her. She didn't have a problem because she wasn't brushing. She had gum disease because she was brushing too hard. And this isn't just her story. This is something I see all the time among older adults. Many grew up being told that a good brushing meant scrubbing firmly, as if the toothbrush was a weapon against plaque. But with age, gums become more delicate, enamel wears down, and what once seemed like good hygiene slowly becomes damaging. Receding gums, sensitive teeth, even tooth loss. These are not inevitable parts of aging. Often, they're the result of brushing too aggressively for too many years. Mrs. Ramon was stunned. She had never skipped brushing in her life. She thought she was doing everything right. But no one had ever told her that how you brush matters just as much as how often. Her dentist gave her a new plan. A soft bristled toothbrush, gentle, circular motions instead of harsh back-and-forth scrubbing. An electric toothbrush designed for sensitive gums. A water flosser for gentle cleaning between her teeth. The results weren't instant, but they were real. Within weeks, the bleeding stopped. The soreness eased. Eating became enjoyable again. For the first time in years, brushing her teeth didn't feel like a battle. And here's something most people don't realize. Gum infections aren't just about your mouth. They've been linked to heart disease, diabetes, and other serious health problems. Yet so many seniors dismiss bleeding gums as just old age, when in reality, it's a red flag their body is trying to wave. The good news? It doesn't take a huge overhaul. Just a few small adjustments, switching to softer tools, being gentler, and keeping up with dental checkups can completely change the outcome. So if you've noticed even a little bleeding, don't brush it off literally. Like Mrs. Ramon discovered, you don't need to brush harder. You need to brush smarter. And before we move to the next hidden hygiene mistake, let me pause to remind you, if this kind of story is opening your eyes, hit the subscribe button right now. Because these are the everyday things nobody talks about, and yet they make the biggest difference for seniors who want to stay independent, healthy, and strong. For years, Mrs. Ramon had a ritual. Every Sunday, she'd sit by the window, sunlight on her hands, and trim her nails with the same old nail cutter she had owned for decades. It was a small routine, but it made her feel in control, neat, and well kept. But as time went on, her hands weren't as steady as before. Her eyesight wasn't as sharp either. She didn't think much of it, until one day she spotted a little cut near her toe. It'll heal on its own, she thought, but it didn't. That tiny cut became red, swollen, and painfully tender. By the time she visited the doctor, it had turned into an infected ingrown toenail, all from trimming a little too short and a little too deep. Something that had felt so harmless suddenly carried consequences she never imagined. And this is where many seniors get caught off guard. Nail care seems so simple that no one questions it. But aging changes everything. Reduced flexibility makes it harder to reach the feet. Vision problems make it easy to miss small details. Healing slows down, so even the tiniest mistake, a short trim, a dull clipper, a cut on the side of the toe, can spiral into an infection, especially for anyone with diabetes or circulation issues. Mrs. Rahman had no idea. For her, nail trimming had always been routine. But after that infection, she learned that routines need updating with age. Her doctor gave her practical advice. Replace that rusty old clipper with an ergonomic one for a better grip. Soak feet in warm water before trimming to soften nails and avoid cracks. Never dig into the corners. That's the quickest path to ingrown nails. She even bought a magnifying mirror so she could see clearly, and when she didn't feel steady, she asked her daughter to help. What used to be a quick 10-minute chore became a slower, gentler act of self-care. And the result? No more infections, no more foot pain, just healthier, safer feet. Here's the part most people miss. Nail care isn't just cosmetic. It's essential. Healthy nails mean fewer infections, stronger mobility, and less risk of complications that can take away independence. Yet so many seniors quietly live with foot pain, assuming it's just old age, when in reality, it's often preventable. Mrs. Rahman didn't give up her routine. She just changed the way she approached it. And that small shift spared her from a cycle of pain and worry that could have easily gotten worse. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you or someone you love looked closely at how nails are being cared for? It's such a small detail, but can quietly shape long-term health. And before we move on to the next hidden hygiene mistake, I'd like to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. These stories and tips are designed to protect the health, dignity, and independence of older adults, and they could make all the difference for you or someone you love. Hit the bell icon too, so you never miss a life-changing update. For as long as she could remember, Mrs. Rahman believed that staying fresh meant using powder. Every morning, without fail, she'd dust talcum under her arms and around her waist. It was a habit she had learned from her own mother, a ritual that felt like elegance, cleanliness, and dignity all rolled into one. But over time, something changed. She began noticing red patches under her arms, itchy irritation around her waist, small rashes that kept coming back no matter how carefully she applied the powder. She thought it was the weather, maybe an allergy, maybe just age. But deep down, she didn't have an answer. It wasn't until a routine checkup that her doctor gently revealed the truth. The very powder she trusted for freshness was actually making things worse. Instead of keeping her dry, it was trapping moisture in places with little ventilation. Under her arms, beneath the breasts, around the waist. And that warm, damp environment? Perfect breeding ground for fungal and bacterial infections. This is something few people talk about. For seniors, skin doesn't behave the way it used to. It's thinner, more fragile, less tolerant of harsh ingredients. Talcum powders, strong deodorants, and heavily scented sprays that once felt refreshing can suddenly turn into irritants. And here's the tricky part. Early signs like mild itching or redness are often brushed off as just a little discomfort, when really, they're warnings of something bigger. Mrs. Rahman had to relearn her routine. She put away the old talcum and replaced it with a dermatologist-recommended moisture-absorbing powder, gentle, fragrance-free, and designed for sensitive skin. She made sure to dry carefully after bathing, wore looser, breathable clothing, and paid attention to keeping skin folds clean. Within weeks, the irritation disappeared. Her skin felt calm again, and so did her mind. It wasn't just about feeling fresh anymore. It was about feeling safe in her own skin. She realized she didn't have to give up her sense of dignity or routine. She just had to update it to match her body's changing needs. And this is where many older adults struggle without realizing it. They keep using the same products they trusted decades ago, not knowing that those products are now quietly causing harm. But with just a few smart changes, choosing gentler ingredients, applying less, keeping the skin clean and dry, problems can be prevented before they even start. So here's the real lesson. Hygiene isn't about doing more. It's about doing it smarter. And when you get it right, it's not only your body that feels better. It's your confidence, your independence, your peace of mind. Now, before we move into the fifth and final hidden hygiene mistake, let me pause for a second. If stories like this are opening your eyes and helping you think differently about senior health, go ahead and subscribe right now. These are the little everyday truths that no one talks about, but they can make all the difference in staying healthy and independent as you age. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss the next insight. It began so subtly that Mrs. Rahman hardly noticed. a little itch in her ears, a bit of discomfort. She assumed it was just earwax, nothing unusual. After all, she'd been cleaning her ears the same way for decades, using cotton buds. Every few days after bathing, she'd gently insert one into each ear, twist it just a little, and feel that sense of relief, as though she was removing something unwanted. It felt clean. It felt right. But what she didn't realize was that each time she did this, she was pushing the wax deeper in, inch by inch, and slowly irritating the delicate skin inside. One morning, she woke up and noticed her hearing wasn't the same. Sounds were muffled, like someone had placed a wall between her and the world. She tried cleaning again, this time more carefully, but it only made things worse. When her daughter finally took her to the doctor, the truth became clear in seconds. Impacted earwax, pushed deep into the canal, along with irritation from years of poking with cotton buds. The tool she trusted to keep her ears clean was the very thing causing the problem. And this isn't just her story. Many older adults unknowingly make the same mistake. With age, the body often produces more earwax, while the ears themselves aren't as efficient at moving it outward. Add in the natural decline in hearing that comes with age, and suddenly, even small blockages feel much bigger. The instinct is to clean more, but the more you clean with cotton buds, the more you risk making it worse. Here's something many people don't know. Ears are naturally self-cleaning. Wax slowly migrates outward on its own. Most of the time, all that's needed is to gently wipe the outer ear with a soft cloth. But when cotton buds, hairpins, or other objects go inside, they don't pull wax out. They push it in deeper. They can scratch the canal, cause infection, or even rupture the eardrum. Mrs. Rahman was lucky. After her doctor carefully removed the blockage, her hearing returned and the discomfort faded. From then on, she followed new advice. No more cotton buds, no more poking. Just clean the outer ear with a damp cloth. Use ear drops if there's dryness, and see a professional if things don't feel right. Simple, safe, effective. What surprised her most was how quickly the change helped. Not only did her hearing improve, but she also felt more at ease, no longer worried about whether she was cleaning enough. Sometimes, the healthiest habit is learning when not to interfere. And that's the bigger message here. Just like skin, teeth, or nails, ear care changes with age. What worked when we were younger doesn't always work later. Small, mindful adjustments can prevent big problems that can affect independence, comfort, and quality of life. So if you've been using cotton buds, or if you know a loved one who does, maybe it's time to rethink that habit. Sometimes the best care is the gentlest care. And before we wrap up, let me remind you, if these real stories and practical tips are helping you see hygiene in a new light, make sure to subscribe right now. These are the kinds of hidden habits that don't get talked about enough, but they can quietly shape how well we age. Hit the bell icon too, because the next time we share an insight like this, it might just be the one that protects your health or someone you love. As Mrs. Rahman's story shows, even the most ordinary hygiene habits can quietly affect a senior's health if they're not adjusted with care and awareness. Our bodies change with age, and the routines that once worked for us may not always be the best anymore. The key is to listen, learn, and adapt, so that everyday habits support our wellness instead of creating hidden problems. By making small but thoughtful changes, like gentler brushing, smarter bathing, safer nail care, careful use of products, and proper ear hygiene, seniors can protect their health, stay comfortable, and enjoy a better quality of life. If you found these tips helpful and want to help yourself or your loved ones live healthier and happier, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos filled with practical advice and real-life stories. Together we can make aging safer, easier, and more graceful, one small habit at a time.